Summer's here and it's a beautiful day to go racing at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. This is the final sector where we take the fastest all-time lap times and we try to beat them in the F1 video game. We are located 28 meters below sea level and we're racing on one of the few anti-clockwise tracks that you'll see on the F1 calendar. 20 corners, 12 to the left, 8 to the right, 77% of the lap is full throttle, and it's extremely difficult to tune a car for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix strictly due to the long straightaways, yet the 90-degree angle turns, the sharp turns that you have to make in order to survive this track. Charles Leclerc's 1 minute 43 second lap time is our target today, and let's have a look at a hot lap here. So wide open across the start finish line here. We're going to be braking at the 100-meter board here. Really slam on the brakes early and then kind of roll your car through with a little bit of speed. It's imperative to not brake too much because after every single 90 there is a very long straightaway. And so if you can save 10 to 15 mile an hour, 10 to 15 kilometer an hour through these 90-degree turns, you really do have an excess speed as you get towards the later end of the straightaways here. Braking at the 100-meter board again, carry speed through turn 4 there, and then through 4, 5, and 6 here, making sure that we brake a little bit later. You can see that the straightaway isn't necessarily as long before you go into these corners, and so making sure you get on the brakes nice and early. Clean exits out of all of these 90s are imperative. And then we're going to go up towards the castle here, going down into second, get up into fourth, and then I like to take this through a third gear. I think I go through second right here, but I like to take this through a mild third, downshift into second there, and then we're going to turn this into another long straightaway, 100% full throttle through all of these corners, and just pray that the tires hang on. This circuit is very good at destroying rear tires, and so you just got to make sure that you doctor up those things as you're going through your lap here. Braking at the 100-meter board, it's imperative you get a clean exit because the next 20 seconds of this are full throttle and you're going to want to get to the top speed as quick as possible. This is where car tuning is extremely important because if you're not getting up to the 210s, 212s, you're really going to struggle on your lap time. On those corners back there, depending on if you're actually racing or going for a hot lap, racing line, you want to swing them a little wide because you want to protect the tires, but obviously if you're going on a hot lap.
Okay, the time last lap was a 1 minute 45.8.
So as I was saying, obviously the racing line and the hot lap line and the qualifying line are two very different things. Baku is known for being a rear right limiting factor, and what that means is that you tend to slide around so much as you accelerate out of these corners that it burns the back tires faster than it burns the front tires, and so those back tires are just extremely important when you've got a 51 lap race. So shaving 3 seconds off this lap, I'm like, man, that's really going to be difficult because a lot of this track is straight line speed, and that's when I started to think, well, I didn't tune my car while I was doing this lap here, and we'll look at how important tuning is in just a second. While I was running this lap here, previously my son was asking to play on the steering wheel, and so I was having him drive around Baku in about a mild third gear, just helping him steer around and whatnot. But you'll realize here in just a little bit when I show you the straight line speed how important tuning is. But to get tuning right on this track is so difficult because if you take away all of your turning capabilities, that sector 2 is a nightmare. And if you don't get your tuning right, you're really going to have to slow down in those corners to make sure that you can actually turn the car. And the differential in between those turns and the differential between your straight line speed and the opponent's straight line speed, it will just evenly match. So finding that balance between I can turn my car, yet I can outrace somebody on a 20-second straightaway is extremely important. And I ran this track for about 40 minutes without realizing that I hadn't tuned the car to how I needed to tune the car. And you can see in races like the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and the Canadian Grand Prix where there's just such long straightaways that if you don't have that minimum downforce, you're really going to struggle. So here is a very good look at, after I had tuned the car, how much time you will gain in the straight line speed. And this is me versus my best time And you can see that I'm coming out of sector 2 behind that car, right? Because I'm struggling to turn the car, I'm struggling to get any grip on the tires. But as soon as I get this car up and going, if you look in the top right of the delta, you can just see the delta falling off of my ghost time there. And that's even after I had a terrible turn 16. If you replay the video about 20 seconds ago, you'll literally see that I understeer the car, shoot wide on the apex, and then have to drop it down to second gear to get any sort of power coming out of the corner. And so let's get the car tuned right here. And personally, I usually make changes based on the presets. I'm not strong enough in my tuning yet, but I know that I need minimum downforce on this for this maximum straight line speed that I can get. But I also know that I need to kind of tune the car a little bit for steering so that I can get a little bit of turn in that middle sector. So I up the aero a little bit there, and then I also make sure that I decrease the ride height. I want maximum speed here, and then I soften up the tires just a little bit to get a little bit more grip on the actual road when I'm turning. And that seems to do me pretty well here, without making any major changes to the suspension or anything of that nature. After I do make the adjustments, you'll see that I struggle a little bit on the track here. I accelerate a little bit and the car is just kind of loose and oversteery, and then I try to get on the accelerator again and just cannot hang on to the car. So you really have to make sure that you just have a little bit more additional throttle control. And then you'll see right here, as I'm getting more maximum speed on these straightaways, I had to adjust my braking point. I had to adjust it just a little bit before the 100-meter board there on the right above the right tire. And then right here, thank God I'm playing on reduced damage, because that would have ended my entire race right there. It would have destroyed the entire front right of the tire there. But looking at up through the castle here, even just small slips like this little oversteery turn right here, right there, that entirely pointed my car in the wrong direction, which then I had to overcorrect to the right so that I could get my car around to the left. And I just lost probably about an entire second right through that little sector there. So extremely important to get not only top line speed here, straight line speed here, but making sure that you can turn your car as well. Let's go on a hot lap here and challenge Charles Leclerc's 143. I will give you the time to turn up your speakers, and let's go through these 70 gear changes on the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So not a 100% flawless lap, but after 20 minutes of practicing the track here, I truly do think that I could have put down a better lap time, but we're coming extremely close to that 143 that that brilliant driver from Ferrari has put down here. Again, I thank you guys for watching, and here's one more mini lesson on why consistency in braking at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is extremely important. Glad they don't have me driving for them. If you liked the video, man, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Algorithm the video. It does help our channel. Thank you so much. We're pushing on 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and we will see you in the next one for the Canadian Grand Prix.